Tonight, Falcons and Panthers. Falcons favored by 2.5, I believe, going into Carolina. D-But, what are your thoughts on Week 10's kickoff matchup here between the Atlanta Falcons, who have a great run game, and the Panthers, who seemingly can't stop a fucking cold? Joe Mixon gets 5 touchdowns a week ago, runs really well. Is that going to be the story of the night? What are your thoughts, Dave?
Man, it's going to be an ugly one, weather-wise. You got Hurricane Nicole out there throwing things off. And one team, the Falcons, they got a lot going into this game. They start off Week 10 and have still the division lead right now, depending on what happens in Munich. But they'll have the division lead at 5-5, so it's a lot on the table for them. So I think the Falcons are going here with the right mindset, run the ball down the Panthers' throat and get a win.
You heard a maniacal laugh there from an Italian that wears a cowboy hat on this particular stage every single day and hosts Hammer Dahn, the podcast, whenever he heard about Hurricane Nicole, who I guess she is...
Wet.
She's a breezy wet bitch. I guess she is going to be a little problematic there. Now, it is not yet into the Carolinas, but I do believe it's feeling its effects. Tone, you got all excited about this because this is sitting right in your unders wheelhouse, isn't it?
There's a couple times a year where you get a chance to do an all-weather under. There was one earlier this year. There was the wind game in Buffalo, New England last year.
Hell yeah.
Sometimes what was that, Philly earlier this year, I think it was, where it was
Philly, Jacksonville.
3 inches of water on the field. I believe there's a 80 to 100% chance of rain for tonight's game.
Is that a lot?
And there's a wind advisory of gusts up to 40 miles an hour.
Is that a lot?
So now, did I take all the unders? Did I take the rushing unders? No, because
we're going to run the rock.
Because I think we're going to run the ball. Falcons are a very good running team. You saw Joe Mixon run for all those yards last weekend. So I didn't take the rushing unders. I did take some passing unders, though, because one, it could be 70 and beautiful. PJ Walker and Mariota aren't going to throw for that many yards anyways.
Tony! All right, a little bit of a burial.
Tony throw 70 yards
in one throw.
2 weeks ago, and then last week he played so bad that he got benched. So,
well, then the backup came in, scored 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, exactly. Dog. So, I took quarterback unders. I took all the wideouts and wide receiver unders. It's a risk. I'm sure one guy could catch a quick screen and go fucking 60 and ruin the entire parlay. Yeah. But it's worth it. This is an insurance bet because if I were to not take this bet and everyone were to go under tonight, I'd wake up tomorrow morning very upset.
And you don't ever want to wake up with any regret. That's the life. That's the style of life you live. Exactly. No regrets.
It's like when you do a lottery pool in a big office. I'm sure there was a lot of these over the last couple of weeks.
What happened with that? They lost power? Somebody tried to set that up?
Yeah, I don't know. Probably.
What happened? Somebody got their hands on it?
Danny Ocean.
I never believe in any of it.
$2 billion. You got to assume somebody's going to try to fucking work that thing.
Ever since but you always, in the office pool, if someone walks around and says, hey, do you want to get in this office pool for the lottery? You always say yes, because if you didn't and it hit, you'd be hanging from a bridge like 2 days later.
Bingo.
Okay?
Yeah, this is the old Victoria's Secret.
Yeah, exactly.
This is Victoria's Secret.
So tonight, this is an insurance bet for me.
That's right.
Hurricane under.
Well, so you wake up this morning.
Sure.
And it's Thursday. I'm turned. You do the whole thing.
I do. That's exactly how it goes.
And then you open your phone, you go right to the Doppler because you want to be the next Cantori.
Mm-hmm. James, great of the greats. On a national level, he's the greatest. On a local level, Joe
Nardo. Yeah, both Pisons. Nonetheless, you love the Doppler. You go right down over to Charlotte, Carolina. Rest in peace.
Miss you, Joe.
Connor, you hit that obviously $25 and a $38,000 bet with the double touchdowns, both for the Atlanta Falcons and for the
Chargers, and then the Raiders-Jags.
Chargers, Jags, and you hit a plus 21,000, I think, last night, right?
Hell yeah.
He hit a plus 21,000 bet last night
in the NBA.
In the NBA for points.
What?
So what we're
talking
what we're talking about right now. Yeah, he didn't flex it enough.
Kept it to myself.
I was on the fucking treadmill this morning, just doing my thing, and Connor just comes up casually and he goes, plus 21,000 last night. And I look at it and I go, you hit that? He goes, yeah. I go,
what game?
We should be telling everybody right now that he did this. He was like, no, I only bet $20 on it to win 900 something. This guy, $20 in and 900 something last night. Tonight you have the super boost. You have taken the reins.
Right.
And we want to let you know, with the way your brain is operating right now, let's fucking ride this thing.
Yeah.
You were doing the research about the hurricane because you knew that you had the super boost. So although Tone said you sounded giddy, you were not giddy because people are going to have to potentially face some devastation from this storm. And for them, we would like to wish all of our well wishes, and we will help and donate if anything happens, just like we did with the previous asshole hurricane that came through Florida. But you had your eyes on it. The super boost this evening has officially been announced. It is
Deontay Foreman and Cordero Patterson each to have a touchdown.
So that's both running backs, right?
Both running backs. One for Carolina, one for Atlanta. Foreman scored 3 touchdowns last time they played Atlanta. And then I believe Cordero Patterson did not play last time they played Carolina.
So we got to think about why Connor has been so incredibly hot. This dude this weekend did not leave his apartment.
No.
All he's been doing is watching games, betting on games, and playing video games.
Boom. Right.
Whenever there's no games on, he's playing video games. That's late night. Then he's just watching it. He's fucking dialed in right now. Yeah. And I think you looking out to see what this bitch Hurricane Nicole is doing and seeing that it's going up there and liking the running back. Darius, you said plus 500. I didn't believe this was plus 500 either. But looking at this, I feel like we got a good one right now. Now, you've said this a lot.
Yeah.
We have hit in the past.
Exactly.
We have hit in the past. We've gotten our hearts broke way too many times.
Many times.
This one feels good, though, D-Butt. You like this hole and you like the thought behind it?
This looks really good. Everything we've been talking about, running the ball, both of these guys are going to get a lot of touches, especially in the red area. I love this one. Plus 500.
Yeah, it's great.
Spelled Connor's name
Yeah, it's
wrong.
not a good sign that it's Conner
yeah,
when
Connor's
it's OR.
OR.
So I think there is a chance.
I should have seen that. But just metaphorically speaking, let's talk about it, the life of Arthur Smith. He could be laid up in a cushy FedEx job right now because his dad founded FedEx, a company worth billions and billions of dollars. Instead, Arthur Smith chose to sleep on couches and draw up cards and run coffee for people and get in the football world and stick with the football world and earn a head coaching job with the Atlanta Falcons. Somehow he has remained a human, and I think it's because of the incredible work ethic that he has passed down from his father in the football buildings. And he has beers with the boys after he wins a fucking game. Right. He hates the media. He talks shit. He seems to have a team that we would respect. Hard-nosed, tough, very Marine devil dog in them, the way they go about handling their business, taking on a team that's rebuilding almost. They have a couple star players, but nobody knows what the next year will look like for the Carolina Panthers. Feels like the Atlanta Falcons are going to in for a showcase evening tonight, and Kirk and I are going to be on the call. What are your thoughts on the Atlanta Falcons and Artie Smith traveling up to Carolina in the middle of a hurricane to play on primetime?
I feel very confident in what the Falcons can do tonight, especially from what Tone is saying, right? We're going to have some serious conditions, correct? Are we having is it wind and rain? What is it tonight?
40-mile-an-hour gusts up to 80 to 100% chance of rain. 40-mile-an-hour gusts a lot. 4 to 5-mile-an-hour gusts, very normal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Great for Atlanta. Great for Atlanta.
Yes, not great for the kickers or punters. I think
but with Mariota and how they run their offense, I think this benefits them. They'll be fine.
Oh, yeah, certainly whenever I talk about that. But I'm just talking about there is going to be some downfall. So the under does look nice because kicking is going to be difficult if it's 40-mile-an-hour winds. Punting is going to be difficult, so it might be bad field position or good field position depending upon how you look at that whole thing. So I'm intrigued by the game, but it does bode well, I think, for the way the Atlanta Falcons are built. Cordero Patterson's back. He was out for a couple weeks. He's a part of our Super Boost, AJ. Have you heard about this?
I have not. What is it?
Okay, Connor put it together. Connor, go ahead and lay it out, please.
Yeah, it's the Let's Keep the Magic Going or Alive Super Boost, AJ. It is Cordero Patterson and Deonta Foreman, both to score a touchdown. Let's keep the ball on the ground. Let's grind and pound both of these teams. And, maybe probably in the first quarter it'll hit.
And we got the name spelled right on the graphic all of a sudden. This is plus 500, AJ. Darius, you had some thoughts on this. We like this boost, I think, right? This is one that's going to hit for us?
Like it a lot. We expect a lot of ground and pound, ugly weather. I got a question for you, though, as far as the kicking game. That's usually impacted first. What's realistic, 35, 40-yard field goal can you make in this type of?
Yeah, I don't know. If it's gusting, it's kind of like a hit-or-miss situation. And the holders should, and I assume they'll do this, if it's gusting winds, I'm okay if the long snapper is okay with it. You'd assume they would be able to. I will wait until a gust passes. I'm watching play clock. Have Vinatieri kicking so I can basically do whatever. This guy's a fucking machine. Yep. He's going to make the kicks anyways. So there is a game on figuring out when the wind comes, when it doesn't come. Another part of the game that could do that, in the PP, the personal protector is normally given the cadence to the long snapper and the punt. Colt Anderson was one of mine. He's now the assistant special teams coach for the Bengals. He had a great grasp at hey, if it's gusty, we can run that thing down until maybe a gust gets out of there, because a 30-mile-an-hour wind gust is vastly different than even a 15 that could be coming. That 15-mile-an-hour difference could really do something. So I think there's a little gamesmanship in there. Yep. But if the wind decides to fuck you, there's nothing. Yeah. There's really nothing, because you can aim for the wind to be there. Let's say it's right to left, and it's going to be 40-mile-an-hour winds. Okay, so I'm going to aim right. This thing's going to come back. And then if it's gusts and that cuts off, and you hit the ball straight. It's like a miss. It's a very difficult thing. Nick Folk has been able to do it very well. I think there's going to be some struggles for both teams in a kicking game if it's going to be 100% raining and 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts. It's not the rain, though. It's the fucking wind. Tony likes the unders, AJ. Tony likes the under. This is a big-time Tony under climax evening. He already put in a plus 2,000 something bet. Wide receivers under receiving yards, quarterbacks under throwing yards. He said there might be, running backs racking up yards because they're going to get the rock, and then points under as well.
Yeah, I also
Carolina
did one.
grass.
Yes.
Yes.
I also did one without
it could be muddy.
the points. Because it is. Yeah, there's big. When I look at these games, a lot of it is it raining in the hours before the game too, which it will be, which is huge because it'll soak. They'll probably have a cover, but it'll still seep through and soak.
There's some sort of warm-up that has to happen at some point on the grass.
I did do one also without the points under because, these teams could just break off runs and runs and runs and see what happens there. So I did one without the points under as well.
Fumbles could happen. Obviously, saw the Falcons last week fumble one just because the arm touched.
Is there an attempts? Could you add some kind of passing attempts to the
There is.
to a bet?
That's a good.
I don't know.
Look at you, AJ.
Under a certain amount.
Hey, how about Ohio picking up FanDuel January 1?
Hey, here we
Go, Hawk. Big
The,
day, man.
Mariota's
Money coming in
23 and a half attempts, and PJ Walker's 25 and a half attempts.
So both those unders probably, you're saying, sound like that's a good.
If it's going to be gusting 40,
Why
yeah,
not?
and rain.
When was the last time Mariota threw it
Yeah.
24 times in a game?
Let's put that on it. I mean, let's take advantage. I don't want to get
Like
too
Tone
off.
said earlier, if it's 70 degrees and sun out, he's still throwing the ball 14,
Yeah.
15 times. So.
That's a bad number. We should expose that.
Let me see what there
We
is.
should expose that right now, actually. Anyways, big time game this tonight. Falcons still can be in this thing.
Big time.
Long term, Falcons can still be in this. They can weasel their way, not weasel because that's indicating that they don't deserve it. They might be able to sneak into a wild card game, and if they
Scratch their way in.
Yeah,
Scratch and claw in.
there it is, scratch and claw their way in. And if they get a team that can't stop the run in this 2022 football, they might sneaky do some things. I think tonight is a great showcase game for this Atlanta Falcons team. How's the defense for the Atlanta Falcons? Good squad?
They're all right. Got some good players, and they fight, they battle. They're tough out week in, week out. And to your point, getting late in the season, facing a team that can run, that can be physical and play defense, that's never a good, never a fun one.
God, what if we hit the Super Bowls plus 500?
Feel really good about it.
Good luck on your bets tonight. I got Atlanta minus 2.5. AJ,
Atlanta minus 2.5.
Darius,
Damn it. Atlanta minus 2.5.
Chuck, Atlanta minus 2.5. Toxic Table, Atlanta minus 2.5. Hammer down in 15 minutes at youtube.com/hammer down. Atlanta minus 2.5. It's normally not great, so hopefully we're in for a good one tonight.